Wakey, wakey! We're there!
So, this is it. The one and only hotel in this godforsaken place. I had to change trains in London and then sit for another 45 minutes in a cab. And now here, I'm in the middle of nowhere. The village of Willow Creek itself is a bit further down the road. But I ought to take a look around here first. Angelina must have checked into this hotel. Wow, the ivy must be at least 100 years old. It's already climbed up the whole building. Shame that I don't have to secretly get up to the first floor. The ivy would be an ideal ladder substitute. 3 flags hanging here. England, Great Britain, and the European Union. The last one's gotta be there, just for the foreign tourists. Ugh, the flags look like they've been hanging there for years. Pretty stained and bleached out. Makes a real nice impression. A large bird bath made from imitation marble. It's full of water and I can't see a damn bird for miles. Now, does a bird bath in a land where it rains constantly actually make sense? I can't see anything interesting, and the basin is much too heavy to move. A wet, uncomfortable, and somewhat shabby-looking wooden bench with the paint slowly flaking off it. The bench is wet. I'm not sitting there. A big heap of wet leaves. A gardener must have raked them together from off the lawn. That pile's not been here for long. The leaves are soaking wet on the outside, but they look drier underneath. The rain hasn't made everything wet through. That pile's not been here. The hotel lobby's in there behind the tall windows. Very grand for such a small country hotel.
Oh, a new guest! Welcome to Gordon's Palace. My name is Murray.
Hello. I'm looking for a young woman who's spending some time here. Maybe you've seen her?
Yes, maybe I have, but maybe I haven't. You have to understand this is a discreet hotel. I can't talk about my guests.
So, she's a guest here.
As I said already, a discreet hotel.
Almost dead, one could say.
It's off-season right now. It'll get busier. This is the best hotel in Willow Creek and a place with history. This was once the sanatorium of the dreaded Robert Gordon, the Dr. Frankenstein of Willow Creek.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. He was the uncle of Samuel Gordon, the maniac murderer. Everyone thought squeaky clean Sir Robert was a respectable doctor. But in reality, he conducted illegal experiments on the sanatorium's patients. Very nasty goings on.
And then someone thought it would make a great hotel.
Of course. Immediately after the murders 12 years ago, the tourists came in throngs. They wanted to see everything. But where could they stay the night? There wasn't a hotel. So, I bought this building. The patients were taken away straight after the incidents, of course. Some also escaped. So, anyway, I bought the house, had it renovated, and now it's the best hotel in the place. How many nights did you say you wanted?
Actually, I just wanted to know if you've seen this young lady. Her name is Angelina Morgan.
Now, I can't talk to strangers about guests. The hotel's reputation, you see.
I see. And if I were a guest myself, then...
Then, of course, we could have a little chat about who else has a room here at the moment.
All right, then. A room, please. For, let's say, 2 nights to start with.
Very well. That'll be £90.
So, what about Angelina? Is she here?
The young lady checked in here a few days ago. Room 13, right next to yours, sir. However, I haven't seen her since yesterday morning.
Thank you. Room 13, that's down this corridor?
Yes, sir, your room is number 12. You do, of course, understand that I can't let you into the lady's room. As you know, the hotel has a reputation to uphold.
Huh. This takes me a step closer. I know Angelina was here. Perhaps I'll find some clues as to what she found out, and who didn't like it. A stand with what looks like tasteless postcards from tourists. They show either pictures of the village or blood-stained knives. Here's one with a screaming woman on it. Huh. Willow Creek. I was here and survived. Willow Creek makes your blood freeze. Willow Creek, home of murderers. Unbelievable. What the? A cheap plastic mask of Samuel Gordon. Toy knife with blood-stained blade. And the worst thing is that you can bet that some of my fellow humans actually buy this stuff. And what's this thing supposed to be? Huh. The original soul key. Summon dark forces and scare the pants off your friends. Lights up in 3 different colors. Gruesome sound effects. Hellish fun. Batteries not included. I can't get my head around it. I'd rather chop my hand off than buy this plastic crap from China and speed up global warming and the demise of mankind. I'd rather chop my hand. Huh. A bottle of schnapps. Maybe I could grab it while Murray's not looking. Murray seems to have just been eating something. I'm guessing that he's the only employee in his hotel, so he can't just go and leave his position at the counter to go and eat. The knife hasn't been used. I'll take it. Maybe I can still find a use for it. Voila! A bottle of alcohol. You know, I can never be bothered with most postcards. But here's a card with a drawn map of the area showing the murder locations of 12 years ago all marked out. I could use the map to help me keep myself oriented. I'll take it with me.
I'll put it on your bill.
A whole row of old-fashioned lockboxes. Although they're only made of wood, they look like they're still tricky to break open. One of the keys belongs to Angelina's room. It's number 13. But I can't get my hands on it while Murray's standing at the counter. Angelina checked in here and is staying in room 13. The guest book probably can't tell me much more. What else can you tell me about Angelina?
Don't know. Nice girl. Seems to be out a lot. Always went off for a couple of hours, then back to her room, then out again.
Did you notice anything? Was she nervous? Afraid?
No, not really. She seemed to be a bit stressed. Tense. And always in a hurry. That's just what young people are like.
Did you call the police when she didn't come back last night?
Why should I? She paid up front. Everything's fine.
Oh yeah, everything's fantastic. She might be bleeding to death in the woods or in the hands of violent kidnappers. But she paid up front.
Calm down. Nothing will have happened to her. Absolutely nothing's happened here for 12 years, unfortunately.
What did you say this building used to be?
The old Ashbury Sanatorium. The legendary, the gruesome, the unfathomable sanatorium of the crazy Robert Gordon.
I see.
Sir Robert was Samuel Gordon's uncle on his father's side. He lived in the castle and was, of course, like all Gordons, completely insane. He conducted experiments on the patients here in the sanatorium. Illegal experiments. Terrible experiments.
And no one noticed.
He mostly did it at night, alone. He only had one accomplice in the village, Dr. Herman. Both were murdered before their schemes were uncovered. But strange things have been happening since their deaths. People claim to have seen spectral apparitions in these corridors, and sounds that come out of the ground.
Sure, and that's probably written large on the front of your flyers, right? A couple of ghosts would surely be good for business. It's just a shame it's absolute moonshine. What can you tell me about this place?
Willow Creek, it's the nest in which I was born, just like all the others you see around here. No one moves to here. Either you're born here and stay, or you're born here and leave. It can't keep hold of the youngsters anymore. They want to be in the city. The place is dying out.
Is there anything special to see here?
The museum, of course. I was significantly involved in setting it up. It's even on my land, which I've leased for a small, appropriate fee, of course. Go into the village. You won't miss it. We set it up once the flow of tourists dried up. You need to offer the people something, after all. We redesigned the rear part of the museum last year. Now it's got a lot more zip. It was my idea. None of the other people in the village have got any idea about business.
And?
You have to speculate to accumulate. You're not going to attract tourists with a couple of clay pots and carpets, are you?
How can you attract tourists?
With a show! You need to give them something. We've got 5 gruesome murders here, an old family full of maniacs, a dark curse. There must be some capital in that.
Doesn't seem to have worked all that well so far.
Alas, no. Many didn't get involved. Said you should let the dead rest in peace. We won't get anywhere like that.
Of course not.
During the first few months after the murders, it was looking really good. The papers wrote about our murders all the time. Loads of free publicity. They came from all over. Buses full. But then, well, the hype died down.
Ooh, how tragic. Hey, perhaps a couple of people should be killed every season. Then you'll get more press.
Yeah, you don't need to worry about it. You haven't invested all your savings. But I'll have the last laugh. This place is gonna be on the up again.
What's that castle out there on the hill?
That's the famous Black Mirror Castle, ancestral home of the Gordon family. There are few buildings here that have a history as fascinating and blood-soaked.
Why, what happened there?
What didn't happen there, more like? Every imaginable abomination. Murder, torture, witch burning, dark rituals, devil worship, everything.
Yeah, sure. And that's not just what you tell the tourists to make this place more interesting.
Well, perhaps it's not quite that bad, but what the people say is true. That castle is cursed. That much is certain.
Cursed.
Just look at the Gordons. An ancient family that's gonna die out. One blow of fate after the other. The latest events alone. Around 25 years ago, there was a fire in the castle, and Master Samuel lost his young wife in the flames. 12 years ago, the eldest Gordon committed suicide. He jumped from the castle tower. After that came Robert's murder and Samuel's suicide. The last surviving Gordon is Lady Victoria. She's already about 90. When she dies, one of the oldest families in England dies with her.
Sounds like bad luck, but not necessarily a curse.
It is. The castle is cursed. It makes the people crazy. How else are you going to explain one Gordon after the other completely losing it?
Some mental illnesses are hereditary. And if it's an old noble family, incest may also play a role.
Yeah. Or natural radioactivity, or poisonous groundwater. That's all far-fetched. It's a curse. Everyone knows that.
What's that then? A soul key?
They are powerful, magical artifacts. After the murders 12 years ago, the police seized documents from the castle. Amongst them were also pictures of these soul keys. Samuel Golden must have been nigh on obsessed by them. The police believe that Samuel had several of them.
Perhaps the devil himself gave him the order to do it.
Perhaps. What's for certain is that he killed for it, and that the keys, assuming they ever existed, disappeared when he committed suicide.
And what has that got to do with this plastic trash?
That's no trash! Do you know how expensive it was to produce thousands of these and ship them here? Pal, that cost me a fortune.
Thousands! How many have you sold?
Put it this way, I won't need to reorder in the near future. Even though they're so fantastic. Well, they even light up when you put a battery in them.
Oh, awesome. Couldn't you perhaps give me Angelina's room key?
If you buy the hotel and let me retire, then we can talk about it.
And if I forget a 50-pound note on the counter, would you go outside to look at the pretty pictures on it in the daylight?
Young man, this is a quality hotel. I can't and won't allow its reputation to be damaged.
No one will notice. There's not a soul here.
You can't bribe me, and that's that.
Thanks for the chat, Murray.
My pleasure.
Room 13. That's Angelina's room. And that's my room, number 12. First I'll get rid of this rucksack, and then I need to find a way to get into Angelina's room. That's better.